we are all relieved with today's news that at least for now, we won't be facing another budget deficit in the current biennium. But I think most Minnesotans understand that when you have some money in your savings account, but you've maxed out your credit card, your savings account balance isn't real. And that's exactly the situation that we're facing today. The number to focus on is $4.2 billion. That's the debt that the Republicans have left us. That doesn't include inflation, and it doesn't include the hundreds of millions of dollars in property taxes that the Republican legislature pushed off onto Minnesotans in their last budget. So I think really the headline is this. Republicans took the state to a shutdown, and they really haven't fixed the problem. And not only did they not solve the budget problem for the state, but they created problems in the budgets of Minnesota families, homeowners, small business owners, students, and seniors. And I'm a little surprised the Republicans are patting themselves on the back for the budget that they passed last July. Even with today's good news, that budget means that Republicans raised property taxes on families and small businesses by eliminating the homestead credit. Republicans borrowed billions of dollars from our schools with no plan for repayment, forcing them to take funds out of the classroom to borrow for their current needs. And for the first time ever, Republicans allowed Minnesotans to do Washington-style deficit spending, raiding our state's future revenues by taking out tobacco bonds and adding debt to the state's credit card for decades to come. They cannot deny their responsibility for that. The Republicans proposed it, they voted for it, and they passed it. The only way that we're going to grow our economy, which is really what this has to all be about, for the long term, is to build a strong middle class. And that's what the Democrats fought for in 2011, that's what we're going to fight for in 2012, and that's what we'll continue fighting for into the future.
If the Republicans had gone ahead with what Governor Dayton and the minorities had proposed in terms of a balanced approach to how we handled the budget, we wouldn't be facing the schools being in deficit by the $2.9 billion. So when you keep in mind that we have an obligation to repay that, and you look at the out years, the next biennium, which there is still a projected $1.3 billion deficit, and if you add on top of that what we have to repay to the schools, you're still talking in the neighborhood of $4 billion. So obviously, this is good news to the extent it works.